Is your brand sending mixed signals? Let's talk about how inconsistency can erode your brand equity and what you can do to maintain a strong and consistent brand image. Hi, I'm Michael Pacheco, Fractional CMO for health and health adjacent technology companies, and today I want to explore the critical role of brand consistency in protecting your brand's equity and how you can avoid common pitfalls that lead over time to brand erosion. So, brand consistency seems like a really simple concept. It's not just about looking good, and it's not simply about being consistent on your Facebook page and your website and your Twitter and whatever else. What it's really about is maintaining the integrity of your brand across all customer touchpoints. When inconsistencies arise, it can confuse your audience and it can dilute the integrity of your brand. And that is what leads to this idea of brand erosion over time. Without further ado, let's dive into why consistency is crucial and how you can ensure it across all your customer touchpoints. 3 things on the impact of brand consistency here. Number 1 is the erosion of trust. When your brand presents inconsistently, it can erode the trust that you've built with your audience. Mixed messages, different visual styles, inconsistent tone of voice, all of that can make your brand appear and feel, right? Because a brand is a personality. It can make your brand feel disjointed, disconnected, unreliable, things like that. Confusion and misalignment. Let's talk about those. Inconsistent branding can lead to confusion about what exactly it is your brand stands for. Who are you? Why are you here? What do you stand for? If your messaging or your visuals are not all in alignment, your audience is going to struggle to understand who you are. They're going to struggle to understand your brand's identity. It weakens customer loyalty. It erodes trust in the brand. Finally, we've got dilution of brand equity. Brand equity is built over time through consistent messaging, visuals, and customer experiences. When these elements are inconsistent, it dilutes the strength of your brand and diminishes the value you've worked so hard to establish. Here are some methods to maintain brand consistency. Number 1, centralize your brand assets. Use a centralized platform. Think Google Drive. Use a centralized platform to manage all your brand assets. Things like logos, color palettes, colorways, fonts. If you have special fonts, keep those font files in there. Any kind of templates that you have, whether it's letterhead templates or social media posting templates, email templates, things like that. Keep all those things in a centralized brand repository. Number 2, create detailed brand guidelines. You want to develop a brand guideline. Some people like to call this a style guide, a brand book. There's a bunch of different terms for it depending on what agency you go through, if you choose to go through an agency to have this done. But you want to have some kind of guideline document that covers all aspects of your brand, from visual elements, colorways, fonts, tone of voice, everything. It should easily be accessible to all members of the team, anyone that's working on anything that might be public facing, and really even internal facing too, when it comes to things like tone, because it's part of the company culture too. Make sure everyone has access to it. Number 3, conduct regular brand audits of your brand across all the platforms, online and off, any place where a customer touches the brand, any customer touch points. This will help you identify inconsistencies and address them before, ideally, hopefully. If you're conducting regular brand audits, let's say once a year, once every 6 months, once a quarter, depending on the size and scope of what it is that you're doing. If you're conducting regular audits, you can address issues before they impact your brand's perception in the market. Number 4, we've got consistency in customer experience. You want to ensure that your brand's values and message are reflected in every customer interaction, whether that's through customer service or product experience, marketing communications, things like that, even sales, really. Consistency in customer experience reinforces your brand's identity. You want to educate your team. You make sure your team understands the importance of brand consistency, and make sure that they're trained on the brand guidelines. Don't just send them the document and say, here you go, read through this. Conduct some kind of training or have some kind of asynchronous training, like have employee training portal where people can log in and watch some kind of training. Maybe they take a short quiz. Don't go nuts on stuff like that. Nobody wants to take a 20 question quiz on brand guidelines, but you want to make sure people watch the video and they understand what they're looking at. And you want them to be educated on your brand. They need to know that it's important, and they need to know how to apply that to whatever it is their role is at your company. Let's look at some examples of brands that have mastered this kind of stuff. Number one, Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has maintained consistent branding for decades with the red and the white colors, the classic logo, the timeless message that they've always focused on happiness and togetherness. It's super consistency that has made Coke one of the most recognized and trusted brands in the world. Another one is going to be Google. Google maintains brand consistency across its gigantic, enormous array of products and services. They've got their little colorway, and you see that on google.com. You see it in Gmail. You see it on Google Drive. Their icons, their stylistic consistency, they have it across everything. Finally, we've got Tesla's branding is pretty consistent across all channels. They emphasize innovation, sustainability, cutting-edge technology. Consistent messaging. It resonates with their target audience. It has that cutting edge vibe to it, and it strengthens their position as a leader in the EV market. In conclusion, maintaining brand consistency is vital to protecting your brand equity, building trust, and ensuring that your brand remains both recognizable and reliable. By centralizing your brand assets, by creating detailed guidelines, by conducting regular audits, by ensuring consistency in your customer experience, and by educating your team, you can avoid these common pitfalls that lead to brand erosion. What I want you to do now is reflect on your current branding efforts. Are your brand assets currently centralized and up to date? Does everybody have access to them? How often do you audit your brand across different platforms? What steps can you take to ensure that your customer experience aligns with your brand values? Considering these questions, guys, the idea here is that it will expose opportunities for improvement and hopefully give you some new ideas on how to implement some of these strategies into what you're doing with your brand. So if you're struggling with this at all, if you're struggling creating consistency in your branding, anything that helps keep your brand strong, I'm here to help. Reach out to me. Let's chat. I'll buy you 14 beers worth of my time at no cost to you. That's a half hour on Zoom. I have nothing to sell you, and my only goal here is to provide you with actionable value that you can apply directly to your business. You can get at me on LinkedIn or by reaching out to me directly on my website. That's michaelpacheco.co. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and let me know what was helpful, what was valuable for you in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're listening to this as a podcast, please give us a review on whatever platform it is that you're listening on. All of these things help us reach more businesses. It helps us help more businesses, and that's really our big goal here. I want to thank you for doing all it is that you do. I want to thank you for all the contributions that you are making in the world with your business. As ever, I'm Michael Pacheco. Until next time, cheers.